remember the drill. I did the same thing last year when I was at the Quality Summit. This year the topic is a little bit different. But before we begin, I have a short confession to make. I am this little bit of a nerdy, geeky guy, and some time ago I went out to get myself the Philips Hue smart lights for the home. You know, the kinds of which have the wake-up light features, like and the sunset in the evenings and stuff like that, and they actually react on your voice commands and stuff like that. The smart lights, how awesome is that? And when I got the lights installed, I woke up the next morning and rolled over to the side of my bed and told to my phone, who is charging there, I told him that good morning, or I told him, hey S, it's an iPhone, so I cannot say the voice assistant's name, but I told him that, hey S, good morning. And he replied that good morning, Antti. And then what he needed to do was he turned on the coffee brewer in my kitchen and then turned on the wake-up lights, like slowly. And what was interesting about it, that when I snoozed, I got to wake up to the scent of a fresh brewed coffee in my home. And it was like, that's amazing feeling. I was like blown away. And since I am this little bit of a nerdy, geeky guy, I immediately felt like I was Tony Stark, and this was my Jarvis. Do you know what is Jarvis? What is it? Yes, it's the AI assistant that Tony Stark has in the Marvel movies. Who has seen the Marvel movies? Raise your hand. The Iron Man, for example. Yeah, Tony Stark is the Iron Man, and I felt like I was the Iron Man. This is my Jarvis here. But then, what happened came the third morning, and I rolled over to the side of my bed once again. And I started that, hey Jarvis, good morning. And nothing happened. I was like, hey Jarvis, good morning. And still no reply. All pissed off, I stormed out of my bed and slammed on the coffee brewer, and slowly, painstakingly, slowly, one by one, I turned on the lights manually in my apartment. And I was pissed off. And all of a sudden, I find myself sitting in the kitchen table where I usually drink the coffee, and I have my cell phone in my hands. And I'm writing, I'm typing as fast as I can. And what I'm doing is there somebody working for Philips here in the audience? No. Thank God. Although we are going to be making a video out of the talk, so maybe someone from Philips will see it there and get all pissed off at me. But what I was doing is I was writing a 1-star review. This is the confession. I was writing a 1-star review on the Philips Hue smart lights. I get the cup of coffee and calm down a little bit. And the engineer in me started to think. So, today we live in a world where everybody walks around, well, not everybody around the world, but at least 4.3 billion people around the world already walk around with internet at their fingertips. What it means is that the truth of your products and services, whatever they are, is exposed really fast. No amount of marketing or advertisement money can cover up the pain of a bad product. And that's what I do for a living. I am a software testing professional. My job is to protect the businesses that I serve. And I always say that what I do for a living is I hunt for the bugs so that you don't need to suffer for them. And that's why I say that software testing that I do for a living is part of the mental health industry, because everybody is just happier when software works. And I'm here to share my story of how I ended up. Do you know the title for the talk? What was it? Yeah, me neither. Yeah, it was the building blocks of mastery. So I'm here to share the building blocks of mastery that I've discovered in my 15-year journey into software testing. What we can learn from my journey, I hope that no matter what your profession is, if it's in software testing or if it's something involved in software development, management, or even leadership, I hope that there will be something to pull out of the story that I'm going to share. So are you ready for it, guys, now? Yeah, you cannot escape anymore. So, so let's begin. About 10 years ago, it's almost exactly 10 years ago now, I ended up from being just a normal engineer in a software project. I ended up being the CEO of my company just by accident. You see, we had just kicked off a business together with some friends. We had started out the business, let's call it Prove. And we started the business in a situation in 2006, in a situation where everything seemed perfect. But what happened in 2008 was quickly, it turned out that was the stupidest thing that I've ever done in my life, starting the business before 2008. What happened in 2008? Can you remember? Globally. It was the financial crisis. Yeah, it was the financial crisis, and starting out the business just before the financial crisis isn't the smart move to do. So, so we had the CEO back then, his name was Antti, and he said he did what rarely human beings can do. He said that there is nothing that I can do for the business. I cannot help you guys. I'm going to move out and let you guys decide what you want to do. Here, and then we were just sitting in a table together with some friends. And everybody looked at me, so your name is Antti too. So could you try it out? So I said, sure, let's do it. And I ended up being the CEO for a software testing business by accident. And the situation where I was in wasn't really comfortable, because laying off friends and firing friends that have been your friends for a long time, it's not an easy thing to do as the first job. And then the second thing that I started to work on was that our business was only 2 weeks away from bankruptcy. So pretty living on the edge. So yeah, I'm not going to climb up there yet. Living on the edge. So that was really a hard time for me, and lots and lots of sleepless nights. Since I was a software testing professional, I had to learn how to share my ideas about software testing to the people who didn't understand testing yet, in a way that they would feel that this is a valuable thing that the software testing people do, in a way that they might someday even buy services from me. And I destroyed myself several times during my journey. So the situation for me was that I transferred from being a tester into somebody who needs to explain testing to people who don't know about it yet. And it turned out that in software business that I did, I had always assumed that everything that I started to do as a professional, delivering results, test results to the people that I served, I had always assumed things the wrong way. Everything that I had learned until that moment were upside down. And the thing here is the building blocks of mastery that I ended up discovering just shifted my perception really, really profoundly. And it was due to a course that I just attended. It was a rapid software testing course given by Michael Bolton. Do you know Michael Bolton? Yeah, he's not the singer, even though you might think so. But anyways, after that session, after that 3-day course at the rapid software testing course, when I left there, it seemed like there were colors in the world. It almost felt like I had waken up from a dream. Nice. He's taking a video here. So cameras can be intimidating. Do you know the feeling when there is like a party where you have lots of relatives, like a wedding or something like that, and then there is this uncle who comes with the video camera, say something, Ville, and you're like this, something. So cameras can be intimidating, but let's try to ignore Kalle. But before we do that, let's give a hand to Kalle. So he's just recording this story here. Cool. All right, guys. So the story itself. Today I love sushi, but that wasn't always the case. The raw fish was just like, it was horrible for me back like a decade ago. And I'm a huge lover of martial arts. So I decided that I will travel to Japan to practice martial arts. And I had a friend whose name was Tony, and he said that Antti, curious Tony Stark, just distracted, I have a little bit of an HDD or HDHD or something like that. But anyways, Tony said to me that, Antti, you're going to Japan and you're probably going to be eating a lot of sushi there. So I said, that's bad. And he said that I will teach you to eat sushi. And he took me to a sushi place. He said, you need to promise to do this 3 times. So I made the promise, commitment to do that. So Tony took me to the sushi place and he said that, isn't this a beautiful piece of sushi? Look at this, Antti, this is beautiful. And I was like, yeah, the beauty is totally in the eye of the beholder. So that seems terrible. It's raw fish and stuff like that. And I just swallowed it it was a forced move for me just to please Tony. By the 3rd time, I had already learned to do it with a smile on my face. and when I left for Japan, it turned out that I had really miscalculated my necessity to eat sushi there, because every day during the lunch breaks, we went for a sushi. Whew. But anyways, going for a sushi every day for 2 weeks is something that will transform the way you feel about something. And for me, that happened is I just started to slowly get used to it. And even in the end, I started to notice the little beauty in the sushi, and I started to like it a little bit. And then when I get back on the plane and flew back to Oulu, where I live, a curious thing happened. There was like on this, I'm not sure, was it Netflix or whatever the streaming service was on my phone or the iPad. There was this strange documentary called Hero Dreams of Sushi. The documentary was about a 93-year-old sushi guru in Japan. Has anybody seen that movie? Hero Dreams of Sushi. Jiro Dreams of... What? Not yet, but planning to. Yeah, you absolutely need to do this. I ignored the movie, but when I got back home, it was just every time when I opened my Netflix, it was there in the suggestions. It somehow knew that I had been to Japan, and he knew that I was just getting into the sushi thing. And then my brother came in and he said, guess what? My wife has just started to learn to make sushi. So everybody started to talk about sushi. So I was like, this is strange. And one sleepless night, when I was just like going through the situation at the business, I just couldn't sleep, so I got up and went to my living room and just started to watch the movie. And the Hero Dreams of Sushi, it's something like 7.5 stars on IMDb, and it's a great documentary about creating like state-of-the-art sushi. And that story is a story of professional work to me. It's a manual of professional work in any domain to me. And I would like to share the things that I realized at that night when I was watching the movie. I realized at that night, I would like to share the three core disciplines that really transformed the way that I do my profession and I do my business. So the documentary started out like the first third of the documentary, it was really interesting. It started out on the fish market. And the people who worked for this elderly guy, 93-year-old hero, went out to the fish market, and the people at the fish market knew that they were coming. So they were putting their best pieces of tuna for sale for them. And they were just like, the guys were collecting the best ingredients that they could for the restaurant. And the reason why they were collecting the best ingredients was curious. Because the restaurant is really small. It has only 10 seats at the... it's like a bar table with 10 seats. It's a small place. And if you want to go eat there in that restaurant, you need to make the reservation for one of the 10 seats like 2 months earlier. And it's really crowded place. They even have the toilet outside. But the interesting thing about the restaurant is that it costs 30,000 yens, that is something like 250 euros for 15 minutes stay in there. So it's like a really valued sushi. And it has 3 Michelin stars. It's the best sushi around the world. And Barack Obama went there to eat. So what happens is in the documentary is that the guys, they diligently, they collect the ingredients and learn the methods that are needed to produce the best in the world sushi. So that was an interesting idea. I usually do a short exercise about software testing with people. So this is basically a brief demo about what they did with the sushis. So who here has been working with software testing? Raise your hands. Cool. Yeah, I knew it. Who's working with development here? Yeah, no hands. 1 hand, 2 hands. Okay, cool. How about like management? I'm going to choose you guys. No. Anyways, so testers, raise your hands. Cool. Yeah, I know. You can take the paper here, and here is my product. So this is a testing assignment for you. Test this product, and you as well. Just take the paper and the pen and test this product. This is a product that I have. Make a test. Yeah, that's great. She's testing the product. Do something. Okay? Nice. You can pass it over to the next one. You can pass it over to the next one. Do a test for the product. That's my product, the pen. You can see professionals at work. This is the professionals at work. Okay? You can pass it over to the behind you. Okay? Do a test for the product. One more. He's sniffing already the... Yeah. Now you think that Antti must have been sniffing the pens as well because he's talking such a just confusing way. And that's true. I have been sniffing the pens because that calms me down. So anyways. Okay. So now let me ask you guys, how do you know what must happen when you do the test? How did you know what to expect? It's a difficult question, isn't it? How did you know what to expect?
By experience.
By experience, exactly. Whose experience?
By my own.
Yes, exactly. Little high fives. Yeah, cool. How did you know what to expect?
I was thinking about how would I myself use the product.
Exactly. Your own world, yeah? How about you?
It was an experience and learning from other people.
Yeah, that's true. Learning from you observe the other people as well. That's true. So, the thing that first flipped my world around as a tester was this. I joined the same experience. I was sitting where you were. And I was like totally into testing the product. I was like drawing something and I started to snap the pen and stuff like that. Luckily, it didn't snap that time because it's messy. I've seen it once. So I was totally into the exercise. And then came the question, how do you know what to expect? I really had to stop. I was sweating like I'm at the moment. I was sweating there because Michael was asking me the question, how do you know what to expect? And I replied the same way. It's my own assumptions. And here's the deal. The thing that I learned the first as a professional is this. In testing, it can be leadership, or it can be, you might be a scrum master or anything. Is that, yeah, it's coming. You're already waiting. I know, yeah, you're already waiting. It's really simple. Testing is, since testing is actually not, testing doesn't fix the product. It doesn't improve the product. Testing is actually improving things through other people. And that was like really interesting notion for me. Testing is improving things through other people. And what it means is that for me to be able, this is what leadership is actually too. Leadership is making things happen through other people. It's always the same. We make things happen through other people. So the interesting thing about this is, if you jot it down, it's great. Thanks for doing it. Testing is improving things through other people. So how can I create results that can be interesting to other people? In a way that they would be willing to change their thinking, to change their actions or decisions. Because if I create results out of the work that I do that have no impact on anybody, aren't they pointless results? Usually they are. Just results that don't actually serve a purpose. If nobody is willing to change their thinking, actions, or decisions based on the results that we deliver, they're easily pointless. So what can we do about this? Is the next question. It's really easy. We need to be able to gather all the right ingredients for doing a great job. And gathering the right tuna fish and the right rice from the fish market, that's the first thing for us to do. And for testing exercise like this, the first thing would be to gather all the relevant information to be able to execute on the ideas that we have. Don't base them on your own assumption, base them on the information that you get. So I fall for the same exercise every time. So this is the first building block. Is basically for your results, whatever your results are, if you are a coder, if you are a manager, a leader, if you are a tester, it doesn't matter. For your results to become interesting to somebody else, what needs to happen first? It's simple. You need to become interested about what interests them. So if you have a pen and paper, this might be a great idea to write it down. For your results to become interesting, you need to become interested about what already interests them. So, the fish market. For testing, for example, it would be to ask the relevant questions. Where is this going to be used? For what purpose? Who would that be in using this? What colors are there? Should it be dangerous or fun to smell the pen? And stuff like that. Those are the important questions that would gather myself the ingredients so that I may later on be able to produce awesome results. So now, if you plant, since it's the springtime in Oulu, since polar bears are just getting out of the streets and stuff like that. So if I am to plant nettle seeds into the soil and expect a harvest, expect them to grow, there is no other way than to get actually nettles. There won't be roses. That's the idea. So I need to be able to get the right seeds and the right ingredients for great results to come. If I have poor ingredients, there won't happen any miracles. So the first thing is what I call the intake of the work. I actually might even jot it down here. So intake. There you go. Is this better? Yeah. Intake. As you can tell, Antti loses his skill to write when he talks. But anyways, that's the first thing. That's the first building block. Being able to become really, really interested about the things that interest the other people. And that's the only way to be able to deliver interesting results to them. And the important thing is that different people value different kinds of information. So we need to be able to understand who we serve, and what do you need, what do you need, what do you expect. So that's part of the intake, asking intelligent questions and being really interested about the work that is ahead of us. So in the documentary, the second third of the documentary is really simple. What happens in the back room of the restaurant? It's interesting. There are the 10 seats, you know, in the restaurant, Hiro's restaurant, and then there is the kitchen that is like the size of this room, and there are 15 to 20 people working back behind the scenes. So the kitchen is huge, and they are doing the actual work there. So who here feels like I'm a professional? Raise your hand. Yeah? I'm not going to put you on stage or anything else. Just raise your hand if you feel like you're a professional. Yeah, that's great. So what I assume is that most, at least here in Finland, that when I meet professionals, I've noticed that basically 99% of the professionals that I meet here, or 100% in this event, so are really great at executing on their work. They're really great at doing what they do. So, execute. It's execute. So, that's the second building block. And this is something that I won't be spending a lot of time today on. But anyways, the first thing here is the intake, to gather relevant information for me to be able to actually execute on the work in a way that it will create great results. So the third phase here is really interesting. When the great names of the world go to have a dinner at Hiro's restaurant, the sushi restaurant, the old master, I would say, he just stands behind the counter, or what is it called, a table. And he just rolls the rice balls there and puts on the tuna and really diligently puts the pieces of the sushi in front of everybody. It's a restaurant where you don't actually place orders, you eat what he has to serve. So for some reason, Hiro, what he does is that he creates a really small balls of rice for women. Well, not really small, but small balls of rice for women and bigger balls for men. Why is that? Can you guess? Exactly. Have you seen the documentary? Yeah, thank you. So what he does is that he combines smaller balls of rice to the women so that everybody has a similar size of a ball to chew on. And then, the camera is just like, it feels like it's... But anyways, what he does as well is that when he does is it the nigiri sushi or something like that, they're the oval shape or something like that. For some reason, he serves the sushis like this way to other people and this way to different people. So he just serves them leaning to the different way to some people in the diner. So what's the reason for that? It's aligned differently. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's right and left-handed people eat with different hands. So what he does every time when new customers come into the restaurant is that he observes, is he or she, are they left-handed or right-handed? He doesn't have to ask it, he observes. He's really interested about the details and the specifics of each individual customer. So for the left-handed, the right-handed. And he takes note of each detail in a way that he would be able to serve. So the third part here is this is the intake, the execute, and the third part here is the serve. To serve. So he serves the results that he produces. He serves them in a way that it feels personal, and at the same time it feels that it's, as a professional, it feels actionable and it feels easy for me to consume it. And to be able to create outstanding professional results, we need to be able to serve the results that we have in a way that's actionable. It has the potential to make an impact to other people. So these are the 3 building blocks for each individual that I've started to use for myself. So every time when I get a new assignment for testing, every time when I start a new project, every time when I start anything new, I immediately default into asking the questions. I immediately default to beginning with the end in mind. So the first thing to do is not to take off the cap and start to work. The first thing to do is to collect all the relevant information, and if the product owner is there, I will take him by the sleeve or her by the sleeve and ask the questions. Then I get to the job, and based on the information that I've already gathered, I execute. And then when I'm done, I make sure that the people who I need to serve, the clients, the colleagues, and the bosses, they each get what they expect and they need. And if they are left-handed, I will deliver them left-handed. Well, maybe not into that much of a detail. So this seems pretty obvious and simple, doesn't it? Yeah, it seems really obvious and simple. Yet every time when I discuss about this in workshops and trainings, we move on to think about the value that any project or a team delivers. And the value, it can be something as an output of a pen. It can be a product. It can be the Philips Hue smart lights. It can be new information. A consultant might deliver a document or a paper, for example. Anything that is valuable is something that you know, the valuable information or the product that we deliver is something that people will eventually they will respect it and want to pay for it. That's how the business is created. But the thing here is that before this kind of a handover happens, that I deliver you my product, there you go, before it happens, there has been lots of hands and passovers, like in a long chain of phases. So basically, if you were to send out the pen and give it to her and you give it forward here, so I can receive it here. I'm the one who's ordering the product. Great. Lots of handovers. And this is basically, you know what the relay race is? I'm not sure about the English term. Relay race is like it's when people run and just pass over the baton or something like that to the next one. So the outstanding products and services, the outstanding value is basically created in a relay race. Everything that we do is taken from somebody and delivered on to someone else. And what we do in the middle is we execute on our skill. So think about the Olympic flame here, that always, by the story that it holds, it starts from, is it Athens? Yeah, it starts from the Athens, and they light the torch, and then there are the old champions who start running, and they start running with the torch, and they just move it as a relay race to the next Olympic city, and they just pass over the torch to the next ones. Just take it, yeah, thank you. So that's the way it happens. And in creating incredible products, in creating value, in creating valuable stuff for somebody else, we are always in a relay race where we need to make sure that the handover is great. And when I have the torch in my hands, I know what to do with it in order to make the flame brighter or at least keep it alive. And in the end, when I pass it over to the last one who ordered what I'm here to deliver, just take it, yeah? Thank you. It needs to burn bright. It needs to burn remarkably bright. And this is the chain of passes that happens in every place of professional work. And this is really interesting because it's no accident that I draw them like this. So the building blocks of mastery for each individual professional it's here. So we need to be remarkably good at receiving the torch from someone else. Receiving the work, receiving the assignment, and being remarkably good at it. Not to fumble the torch in a way that it would fall down and everything would be a mess. And then we will execute on our skill, and it will make the flame brighter. And in the end, when my job is done, I am to hand over the torch to the next person. And I need to be able to serve the torch in a way that they can grasp it, and they have what it takes to make the torch burn ever brighter. So everything that happens in delivering products, outstanding products and values, it's a long, long chain. And now comes the question, how durable is the chain? Yeah. As durable as the weakest link. That's my point here. The chain is as durable as the weakest link. And with anything valuable that we do, what could fuck this up? What could fuck this up is the weakest link. And usually the weakest link, it happens in places where you pass the torch on to the next one or receive the torch from somebody else. And it's no wonder why people who were like manufacturing cars for Ford, they had to travel to Japan to learn how to create great, outstanding quality. And yeah, oh, almost the time, yeah. It's no wonder why the people from the United States had to travel to Japan to learn outstanding quality. Can you stand up for a moment? Yes. So when I went to Japan, we were like introduced to some ancient Japanese swords and stuff like that, and that's amazing. I was like blown away. And the first thing that they taught us, and that they teach to everybody in Japan, it's really simple. How do you pass the sword to the next person? So when the sword is taken out of its sheath, the sword is held in the hand. It's curved to the right direction from my point of view, to the right, so to your left. And then I take the handle with two hands in a way that the edge would show that way. And I lean the sword between us like this. The edge would be there. Mm-hmm. And then you would raise your right hand and take it from upwards, yeah, like this. And now that we both hold the sword, you know, a sword is something that if you drop it, that's like you need to do the, what do you call it, harakiri or something, like you need to kill yourself and somebody needs to cut off your head. You never drop the sword, so don't drop it. Are you? Great, because I would have needed to sever your head or something like that. So let's begin again. Okay, so I have the sword here. I give it to you. You take it there. Now we have a firm grip, both of us. It cannot be dropped at this moment. Now you will nod your head. Okay, I now know that she has the grip of my sword. And then I will nod and release it. And then you have it. And that's a surefire way for, yeah, and you just be careful. Don't wave it like that because it's really sharp. So, great, thank you. You can sit down. So this is a surefire way to pass on the value, to pass on the torch to somebody else in a way that it's not dropped, so that the value it's possible for our team, for our organization to improve on the value and make this flame burn even brighter. So this is really simple stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it's really simple stuff, but yet organizations every day, when you just start to reverse engineer, where did they fail? They failed at some point where the torch was passed. So it's simple, but at the same time, it's not easy. Nice. Thanks. We have here in Finland, we have the organization called Kela. Yeah, Kela. And every year a company needs to, I'm not great at paperwork, so I'm an engineer and a geeky guy. So every year a company needs to apply for the money used for the company healthcare from Kela. And it was something like a 17,000 euro bill for our business last year. And what happened was that my accountant sent me the actual paper. And he said that we have this työsuojeluvaltuutettu. I'm not sure what is it called in English, but it's somebody who needs to take care that the healthcare at our company has been taken care of, something like that. And he would need their signature there. And the accountant sent me the papers and said that I will need the signature. Can you, Antti, handle this? And I was like, yes. Could you please do it? You can call Antti. His name was Antti as well. He lives in Helsinki, and email this paper to him, please. And I replied in an email. And what happened last week was that we got a letter from Kela that your 17,000 euro refund has been declined because you don't have the signature of that guy. I was like, what the hell? I was like, how can this happen? I sent you the email. I sent you the email, accountant. And she was like, yeah, but I didn't get it. I didn't see it. And who made the mistake there? I made the mistake there because I just handed over the torch, I dropped it and moved away. I didn't make sure she had gotten the message because that was a mistake worth of 17,000 euros for my business. Luckily, we have been working with Kela now to get the refund later because we can correct the decisions. But it has been a lot of useless work. So you always need to be able to make sure that the torch is not dropped and make sure that when you deliver something, they actually receive it as well. And when you receive something, make sure that you get all the necessary information for you to be able to serve your clients, colleagues, and bosses the best way you can. Are we out of time?
Yes.
Yeah. I would have had the great stuff for you guys, but let's do that the next time. A little bit of a teaser. I'm sorry?
If there is going to be.
Yeah, I'm sure there won't be a next time. So he's going to bring more cameras and even more strange and ADHD stuff. So I guess it's time for questions.
Yes.
Yeah, if we still have time for those.
I think so.
Yeah.
But let's give a big hand. Thank you. Wow, that was inspiring. There is one question.
Okay, I can speak without
You
one.
can. You're allowed.
Were the pens tested as you requested?
Probably, yeah. Because I only said the test is, I wasn't specific. For testers, how many testers here can explain what a bug is? Who here can explain what a bug is? Raise your hand now. It's awkward how few hands are raised up. What is a bug?
Not meeting specification.
Yeah, that's a great explanation. Can a bug be something else?
Not meeting expectation of the customer.
It can be something else as well. There are lots of explanations for what a bug is. Yeah, this is an interesting point of view. So how can you, as a tester, for example, how can you find bugs if you don't know for sure what you're looking for? It's a great question. You need to work on your knowledge and understanding what is a bug to be able to find more of them. So that's part of the number 2 and number 1, I would say. So I need to be more specific in the assignment, and you need to be more specific in asking the right questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Did you send that 1-star rating to the book? Because I think it wasn't because of that. It might be because of your phone.
Yeah, it was. It was the battery was out or something like that. But I was so upset I had to do something about it. I had just a few months ago, I had time to redeem myself. I had to go actually out and write a 5-star review, and just to like to redeem myself on the issue. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked for specifications when you do this pen testing thing?
Every now and then, yeah. Every now and then, but that's something like 1 out of 100. Because most people start to test instead of asking the questions. And 1 out of 100 testers, first thing that they default to is to ask something. Ask anything. Anything, it's basically any assignment that you get. Ask something, anything. And then things start to work out. As you might have noticed, I haven't done this specific talk in English before, and I was sweating like crazy. So I'm still sweating like crazy. Yeah, it's hot in here, but I was still sweating like crazy because I haven't done this specific talk in English before. So thanks for playing all in and getting yourselves involved, even though you assumed that there might be some awkward moments, for example, with test this pen kind of exercises. So thank you, guys. Thanks for playing it all out.